Lakeview, a neighborhood located in the north side of Chicago, is best known as the home of the Cubs, Wrigley Field, and the gay district known as Boys Town. This area comprises 3 square miles of lakefront property, bars, restaurants, and residential areas, and it's one of the top tourist destinations in the city. But Quad's Gym, located at Broadway and Waveland, is a place that the average Chicagoan or visitor from the United States or abroad has never heard of.
Well, the first time I walked into this gym was back in March 2002. And at first I thought it's probably like some small 1-floor gym. And then as I started walking and I'm just seeing how big this place was, and I was like, wow. And then when Dave told me there's a second floor, I'm like, what? There's a second floor? So I go up to the second floor and there's this like giant free weight room and then there's another room across from that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Oh, we're gonna get along just fine here. And I've been working out at this gym ever since. It's been now over 15 years.
You know, over that time, you see very interesting people come through Quad's Gym. You see professional athletes and actors and news personalities, but it's still kind of that underground. You know, there's not saunas here and classes, and you got to be very serious. So it's known either as a hardcore gym locally, or nationally it's known as, if you travel and you come to Chicago, you got to come to Quad's.
My name is Dave DeYoung. I've been the owner of Quad's Gym since May 1st of 1976. Basically, I was in a basement before I opened the first location, which was in Thornton, Illinois. We had 2 different gyms in Thornton, Illinois, and the only reason why we moved out of one into another was we got bigger. Me and Tom, my business partner, we were both athletes, and we really liked strength training, and we saw results by working out hard with weights, and we started getting bigger and stronger, and that's kind of what it was all about. You know, when we were in the basement, we had really no intentions to open a gym, but we started kind of wrecking floor tiles and ceiling tiles in his mom's basement, so we kind of got pushed out of there, and that's when we opened our first location. You know, we lived a half block away from each other. We lived in Dalton, Illinois, which was South Side, and he lived a half block away from my house. So, you know, when we were little boys, his mom would push the buggy down to my house, or vice versa. My mom would push it down to his house, and we were like in the sandbox, and we were like at the park where the swings and slides were, and we became good friends. And then after 12 years of being in Thornton, we went to Calumet City. And we didn't rent anymore, we bought the building in Calumet City. And then in 1988, we came down to Chicago. So it's coming up on 14 years, and he was he was a wonderful guy. So I'm kind of doing this on my own now. I sold the South Side Gym, which was Calumet City, because I can't be 2 places at one time. But Tom was like my brother, besides being a business partner. We were 50-50 in the gym together. but he was one great guy. You would always like to have every piece of equipment, but we really didn't have, as much money. We had a kind of like what you'd call crawl before you could walk type thing, where you just you always had your sights set on new pieces of equipment, but we would slowly buy pieces as we had the money. As business got a little bit better. I had gone to California for like 12 years in a row, and I learned more about the gym business, even though I was in the gym business, and I learned a lot from Joe Gold. Joe Gold was the original owner of Gold's Gym. I got to be good friends with him. Like some people will always have different mentors in their life, whether it be a sports celebrity or an actor or whatever. I always looked up to Joe because that's who I wanted to be. He was a gym owner for a long, long time. And and I look at longevity, and I look at how his gyms were run. I wanted to be like that, and so he was kind of my mentor. He was a great guy. He originally started out as a merchant marine, and his first gyms were in New Orleans called Ajax Gym, and then he migrated out to California, and that's when the first Gold's Gym opened. And later on, after he sold his name, then it became World Gym. He had, he sold Gold's Gyms, his own name he sold. And then he opened up World Gym. I think I drove him nuts a little bit, because I had so many questions, and I would give him a break, and I would go for lunch or whatever, and get out of his hair for a while. But I liked all his workers. Zabalewski, Eddie Gugliani was one of his workers. So those were all old bodybuilders in the old days during Muscle Beach.
I was in the Marine Corps. Bodybuilding was, when we got in Okinawa, there's really not much to do in Okinawa other than to either drink or weight train, and I leaned towards weight training. So then I started realizing that, I could maybe do that. It wasn't like a conscious decision. I just after, training really hard for 6 months in the gym over there, and I started looking somewhat like a bodybuilder, or at least the shape was coming, so it was, And then when I got out, I didn't have anything to do really. I went right to personal training in 1996, and entered the local NPC bodybuilding show that summer. And I moved back to the Chicago area, started here in June of 2011, and started training here. The first was probably 15 years prior to that, so just here to work out, but and then moved away. So I have some history here, basically. Yeah. So when I came back in 2011, I just knew I wanted to start my business here because I had it in Vegas, and I just moved it to here, and I wanted to be at this gym. Well, it's the top bodybuilding gyms, and one of the top bodybuilding gyms in the world. So it's got a lot of history, which to me it's a big deal. And obviously, when bodybuilders come into town, they generally come here to get a training. So you get to see a lot of the current pros.
So before I joined Quad's Gym, when I was in Washington, D.C. area, I'd started bodybuilding for a couple of years. I'd gotten out of the military and was looking for some kind of sport that I enjoyed. So I'd done a bodybuilding show. I had done some strongman, and I wanted to continue and rise up in the ranks. And this was like the natural gym that everybody flocks to move ahead when you want to do real bodybuilding.
Quads has thrived for more than 30 years in part because Dave DeYoung takes an approach to his craft that rivals that of Japanese craftsmen and artists. The craftsman, or shokunin, dedicates years, decades, in fact, a whole lifetime to his craft, doing one thing very well despite the odds and the threat of monotony.
But I like people that are regulars, that are here on a regular basis. not the people that are like armchair quarterbacks where they're here and then they get a 3-month membership and they only come for 2 weeks and they don't come back. I don't want those type of members. I want members that come here and use the gym and get in good shape. You know, I don't really, I mean, that's not what I'm here for. It's about passion. It's about passion. It's not about money. You know, if I've been in this business for over 40 years and I'm not rich yet, I'm never going to be rich, and that's not my motive. It's never been my motive.
I started here October of 2007 as a night manager, and at that time it was only like a couple of nights a week because I had a full-time job. But then afterwards, 2 became 3, 3 became 4, and now I'm here Monday through Friday, and went into business on my own. I think as far as what Dave, as far as what he wants to instill in us, as far as how to treat other people in the gym, you know, just treat everyone with respect, because if you want, you know, you gotta give it to get it.
Gentrification is currently sweeping the neighborhood of Lakeview, which continues its expansion as an affluent tourist destination after the Cubs' World Series victory in 2016. Even as we were shooting scenes for this film, construction crews resurfaced Broadway. The hard sounds of jackhammers suggest a sea change out in the street, and it echoes the changes that are also going on in the fitness industry at large. According to Statista, the number of Americans with gym memberships continues to grow year per year, but at the same time, the industry is becoming more splintered as it tries to cater to unique consumer tastes and fashionable fitness trends. The emergence of yoga classes, CrossFit, boot camps, and spinning suggests that corporate gyms are trying as many tactics as they can to grow their member base. And yet, hardly any of those corporate chains take an approach to sustainability as that of Dave DeYoung's.
I think when they see Quad's Gym, and it's pretty synonymous with bodybuilding and powerlifting, they tend to get pretty intimidated. You don't have to be, you know, a bodybuilder or a powerlifter. So, you know, everyone in this gym has different levels of fitness when they come here to train. So you come in here, you train to your specificity when it comes to your level of fitness.
I had some health issues that I had to deal with, and huge outpouring from the members and people that I didn't even know really knew me. I mean, you know, like, oh, I didn't even know you knew who I was. But so that's pretty awesome. And we used to have a member here we call him Professor. He's passed away, but he even has his seat out there. I don't know if you noticed the 8x10, and that man was awesome. Every day we'd sit and chat for when I had downtime. He's a good memory, you know, just a really good guy, and how Dave took care of him and, you know, helped him out in his later years.
So Dave is very practical. It doesn't matter who you are, he's going to treat you the same. He's going to tell you straight up how it is, how you look, what the rules of the gym are. When I first met him, he knew that I had worked out with Kirk Kowalski, and he welcomes competitors with open arms. He loves to tell you all about the glory days in the 80s and 90s and tell you stories, but also give you pointers and ask if you know certain people. And I mean, every time you come in, Dave says hi. Every time you leave, he says bye, have a nice day, ask about your family. So yeah, when I first came here, the first thing he said is, are you a competitor? And he made sure to ask, when's the show? Well, how's your diet going? So he's always like that.
I've become very close friends with many of the members that aren't my clients. You know, just it has that family feel. But I would love to see more people find this. For one, because to keep the gym going. I mean, Dave has a lot of overhead, and we have a lot of room. We could have more. We could definitely have more business here, other than just the people who are in the area and know it. So yeah, I would like to see more people come, as long as they can respect the place and respect the equipment and respect the history. You know,
I lived in Chicago my whole life. Originally, I'm from the south side of Chicago. I used to live in the Pullman neighborhood, and I moved uptown July of 2000, and I've been here ever since. I think it's, Quad's continue to stay, being where it is still, is because, it just became quite a staple to the community, to the neighborhood. So, just like one of those things where you hear the expression, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So this is one of those gyms where it's like it doesn't need to be fixed or needs to gentrify when it comes to the changes of the neighborhood, because it's good the way what it was back then to what it is now. So it's part of the neighborhood, it's part of the community where it's a staple.
What pushes Dave? What makes him who he is?
I think before was the love of bodybuilding and seeing people achieve greatness in his gym. I mean, you had Ed Cohen, who started out, in here, and he was 124 world record. He's an extremely humble person with extremely crazy numbers in the world powerlifting. I think Dave's very, very proud of that and being able to have that atmosphere. And then people come in and still continually becoming pros through here. You have pro athletes, pro bodybuilders, pro football players, pro basketball players. And then I think what drives him now is his kids, his daughters. I mean, he wants to leave something great for them. And Dave's a good guy, good heart.
If anybody did take over this business, I would want them to keep it the way it is. Not make it like the corporate gym. Make it just like it is. Keep the name going. Quad's Gym going. Keep the pictures on the walls. Keep the equipment like it is. Not come in here and make it like a corporate gym. It's not what I'm about, and that's what I wouldn't want a gym like that. If people always say to me, do you have a steam? Do you have a sauna? Do you have a pool? No, I don't. Yeah, but I can lead you to where you could go swimming or go to group classes right around the corner. And I do send people to other gyms, okay? Because we don't have those amenities here. But if you're looking for a good strength and cardio gym, this is the place to be. So. There's, like I said in the beginning, there's things that we have that they don't have, and there's things they have that we don't have. But the things that they have, I don't want. I want to be what I am, and I think I'm doing an all right job at what I do.